Hey everyone, this is Lizzie Emmons, the director of the Jackson Arts Council, and this is the tutorial video of how to apply for our JAC grants for the 2023-2024 season, which is our fiscal year 24. I'm going to spend this time walking you through the guidelines for the JAC grants, how to complete the project budget form, and we're also going to talk about the questions that you'll find on the application itself. You can find this information all on our website at 731arts.com. The way that you get to this specific grant opportunity is to go to 731arts.com, go to the Programs tab. Under the Programs tab, you'll see our grant programs. There are multiple grant opportunities listed there. This tutorial video is specifically for the JAC grant. So 731arts.com, Programs, Grants, and then click on the Jackson Arts Council grant section. This year's JAC grant applications will open on March 13th, 2023, and they will close on April 28th, 2023. The panel review will be on June 1st. We encourage everybody who applies to attend the panel review. You will get an assigned time to come to the panel review from the Jackson Arts Council. So if you apply, be on the lookout in your email. That's just a time for the panelists, the grant panelists, to ask you questions that they might have about your application and get a little bit more clarity. So June 1st is that date. If you apply for a JAC grant, go ahead and mark June 1st at lunchtime on your calendar. We'll start at noon and we'll go through the afternoon. Again, you will get assigned a designated time from the Arts Council after you apply for a JAC grant. So be on the lookout and go ahead and mark your calendar for June 1st if you apply. June 15th, we will notify all people who are receiving JAC grant awards of their awards. Your signed contract has to be returned the last day of June, and then July 1st, your projects may begin. So a more detailed timeline is in the guidelines, but that's just kind of a rough timeline of what to expect for your JAC grant application. So what are JAC grants? What can I use JAC grants for? JAC grants are specifically for arts projects that are open to the public. So whether this is an art installation or an art event or anything in the arts, it must be open to the public if you're applying for JAC grant funds. If you are an art-specific organization, you can request funds from $500 to $5,000. So if you have an art-specific focus, you can request up to $5,000. If you are not an organization that is arts focused, you can request up to $2,500. These grant funds must be a dollar for dollar match. So what does that mean? That means that every dollar that you request from the Jackson Arts Council, you have to show that the other dollar is being met somewhere else from another source. So they are a dollar for dollar match, and you will have to show that in your project budget form that we'll get to in a little bit in this tutorial video. You are eligible for JAC grant funding if you are a 501c3 nonprofit organization chartered specifically in Madison County, Tennessee. You can also apply if you are a college or university in Madison County or an educational institution serving K through 12 students within Madison County. The only government entity that we allow to apply for JAC grant funds would be the public school system. If you do not fall in those categories, if you're an individual artist, or if you do not have, you're a group but you do not have 501c3 status, then this grant is not for you. There's a full list of fundable and non-fundable activities. If you're wondering what in the world kind of art project are you talking about, you can read through those. I'm not going to read through the full list of fundable activities and non-fundable activities that you can find in the guidelines document. But when you get ready to apply for a JAC grant, keep in mind those fundable activities. Think about activities that promote the entire arts and culture sector. How How are you benefiting the arts within Madison County? What are you adding with this project? Is it a masterclass? Is it a workshop? Is it a festival? Is it an event? Is it a conference? Is it a performance? Is it an art installation? If it's something along those lines, then it is probably a fundable activity. So look at those fundable activities listed within the guidelines and make sure you read the non-fundable activities as well, just to make sure that you're not applying for anything that we can't award you funding for. The Jackson Arts Council is strongly committed to equitable opportunities to participate in the arts. That includes the programming that we support. We want to make sure that the programming supported by JAC grants, that people have opportunities to participate in them, which is why they have to be open to the public. But we also want to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to apply for JAC grants, whether you have a $100 a year budget or you have $1 million a year budget. These grants are open to you, so we don't want anyone to feel that they can't apply for JAC grant funds based on their annual budget. These are open to everybody, and we are here to help. So if you watch through this tutorial video and maybe you have never applied for a grant before and you need some additional help, we are absolutely here and more than happy to help you at any time. We recruit 5 grant panelists to review your application. So the staff at the Jackson Arts Council is completely out of the scoring process of your application that you submit. It is all on these 5 panelists. You can find a full review of everything that they are going to be evaluating you on in the guidelines. Under the grant review process section, but essentially they're going to be evaluating you on how are you meeting the arts needs of our community. How does the project add value to the community, artistic value to the community? How does your project serve the diverse population and underserved populations of Madison County? How does your project support working artists in our community? How do you advocate for the arts within your own organization? Where are your matching funds coming from? Do we know for sure that you're going to be able to do the dollar for dollar match? Do you have that proof in your budget? And then how well planned out is your project? So those are the criteria. Again, you can find just expanded additional information about those different criteria listed in the guidelines, but that's what the grant panelists are going to be evaluating you on. So keep those in mind as you're filling out your application. Just a few important items to keep in mind as you get ready to begin your application process. The full list of questions that you'll find on the application itself can be found on page 6 in the guidelines document. So you can go ahead and see all of the questions that are going to be asked of you ahead of time. So our advice is go ahead and start reading over those questions and gathering all the information that you need, and even starting a draft document just on a Word document on your computer, answering some of the narrative questions and going ahead and getting started in the application as you gather your information using that guidelines document. Then when you're ready actually to start the application, you have everything that you need and you can complete it in one sitting if you gather everything that you need before. Another thing to keep in mind is that incomplete or inaccurate applications are going to result in a negative review. It doesn't mean the grant panelists won't review it, but if they're incomplete, they're probably going to have a negative review. So if you don't know how to complete something, again, just call us, just email us, reach out to us in any way that you're comfortable, and we're happy to help you gather that information and answer any questions that you have. Before submitting your application, have somebody read over it, whether that's us or somebody outside of your organization that you trust. Just have them read over it. It's always helpful to have another set of eyes on an application before you actually submit it. Proofread everything for spelling, grammar, punctuation, all that good stuff. And remember that if you do get a JAC grant award, that the Jackson Arts Council's name and logo should be included in all publicity, marketing, everything involving that project. The project budget form can be found on that JAC grant website that you navigated through the homepage. You'll specifically see a link that says project budget form. When you get ready to fill out that project budget form, note that the applicant cash match column must be equal to or greater than the JAC grant funds column. So again, $1 that you're requesting for Jackson Arts Council must also be matched from another source. So just make sure that that applicant cash match is either equal to or greater than what you're actually requesting from the Jackson Arts Council. When you fill out that project budget form of exactly how much everything is going to cost for your project, save it, because you're going to be asked to upload that document in your application. If you are a nonprofit organization, you're also going to have to upload 2 additional documents. In addition to that project budget form, you're going to have to upload a document with your list of current board of directors, and you're also going to have to upload a budget of your organization within the year that project will take place. Again, as I mentioned before, you can find every single question that is going to be asked in the actual application within the guidelines document starting on page 6. So once you start the application, nothing will be a mystery, nothing will be unexpected, because you'll know everything ahead of time because of that guidelines document. Some things to keep in mind is you'll need to know that estimated number of individuals who are going to be impacted by the project, what's your overall reach, and then what percent of people who are going to have access to these projects fall in underserved categories. So these would be children under 18, people of color, people living in rural communities or isolated settings, people living with disabilities, or people who are senior citizens. You'll need to have an estimated percentage of people who will be impacted by your project that fall in those categories. All of the project narratives are listed again in the guidelines. As you're answering these narrative questions, again, I recommend doing these first in a Word document as a draft so that you have them ready to go, copy paste right into the application, and you can just complete all of your application in one sitting. Those project narrative questions, keep in mind what the grant panel is scoring you on. All of those can be found within those grant panel review process, within the guidelines of exactly what they're going to be evaluating you on. So use those, how they're going to be evaluating you, to answer the project narrative questions. At the end of the application, again, you'll have a space to upload your required documents. Everybody is required to upload that project budget form. And then you'll have a section at the end also to say that you understand that you should attend the April City Council meeting to continue advocating for support of the arts from our city government. So, and you'll be invited to that next April if you were to receive grant funding. But after you complete all of the requirements section of the application, you're done. So if you have any questions at all, like I said, the Jackson Arts Council is here to help you in any way, no matter how big or small your organization, institution might be. We would love to help you if you have any issues with the form, if you have any questions about the guidelines, project budget form, narratives, if you just want kind of a review of your narrative questions, you want to run those by us before you submit your application. just reach out to us. We're here. Our office number is 731-422-1385. We're here to help you Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. So we'd love to help you, and good luck.